2013 NAPLAN Calculator Section Question 1. One lap of a park is 3.52 kilometres. How many kilometres is 16 laps? Pause the video and attempt the question. Okay, so one lap of the park is 3.52 kilometres. Pretend this is my park. So it's 3.52 kilometres all the way around the park once. That's the perimeter of the park. How many kilometres is 16 laps? Well, it would be 16 times 3.52, which is 56.32 kilometres. Question 2 of the 2013 calculator section. The scale of this map is 1 centimetre is equal to 300 kilometres. What is the approximate direct distance from Brisbane to Carnarvon? Pause the video to attempt the question. Now we can see there is a ruler here on the diagram that the distance from Carnarvon to Brisbane is 13 centimetres. We know that 1 centimetre equals 300 kilometres. So to find 13 centimetres, you would need to multiply by 13. So 1 centimetre is 300 kilometres. Therefore, 13 centimetres will be 13 times 300, which is 3,900 kilometres. And that's your answer to question 2. And you can shade in 3,900 kilometres. Now for question 3 in the 2013 paper. 1.5 times something, indicated by a question mark, equals 0.6. What value of question mark makes this number sentence true? You can attempt the question now. Now, one way of doing this question is just to try in the different values for the answers. So we can try this first answer here, 1.5 times 0.4. You can do that on your calculator. If you do that on your calculator, you actually will get 0.6. So therefore the answer is 0.4. I'll just show that on the calculator now. So on your calculator, if you enter 1.5 times 0.4 and press the equals button, you will get 0.6. So you can shade in that 0.4 is the answer. Now, another way of doing this question is not to try these different solutions in the question mark. What you can do, you could say, for example, well, don't use these numbers up here, just think of some easier numbers. For example, think if, say, 5 times something equals 20, then how do we find out what that missing line or the number on that missing line would be? So 5 times something equals 20, then that means that 20 divided by the 5 equals that missing number. So if you do the same thing with this question, 1.5 times something is 0.6, then to find out what the question mark is, you would do 0.6 divided by 1.5 on your calculator, and with that you would get 0.4. So that's another way of doing the question. Question 4 of the 2013 calculator paper. This table shows how many people attended 3 football games. We can see those numbers there. And to the nearest 1,000, what was the total number of people attending the 3 games? You may pause the video and attempt the question. Okay, now just using your calculator, you can add up the 3 numbers for the 3 different games. So we've got 53,403 plus 41,470 plus 62,845. Enter those on your calculator. The total you should get is 157,718. Now we need to round these to the nearest 1,000. So is it going to be 157,000 or 158,000? Now looking at the 718 is bigger than halfway, which would have been 500. So we round up to 158,000. Because 157,718 is closer to 158,000 than it is to 157,000. Question 5 of the 2013 calculator paper. There are 6 cubes in this 3D puzzle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The puzzle is completely dipped into red paint. When the cubes are separated, how many faces will be red? Pause the video and try the question. Now there are 2 different methods that you could use to do this question. The first thing, you could just look at each of the 6 cubes and pretend that each of those 6 cubes aren't joined. So each of the 6 cubes have 6 faces, and If the cubes aren't joined, then you would have 6 times 6, which is 36 faces. But what we can then do is subtract the faces that are joined. So I'm going to put arrows on all the faces that would be joined, and I'll just do that now. So, okay, I've got just putting arrows on faces that are joined. Okay, so there would be 2 faces joined here, one from this cube on the left and the other one here. So there's 2 faces joined there. Where these 2 cubes touch here, there's another 2 faces joined. Where these 2 cubes touch here, there's another 2 faces in here joined. These 2 cubes here touch, and there's another 2 faces joined. And here we've got another 2 faces joined. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places where 2 faces are joined. So 2 times 5 equals 10 faces. So we do this 36 here, take away the 10, which gives us 26 faces that would be covered in red. The reason being, the faces that are joined will not be covered in red. Now I will show you another method. Firstly, about those faces that are joined, if you just look in this diagram here, when I put like these 2 cubes here, you can see that there are 12 faces, 6 on this cube and 6 on this cube. But when I join these 2 cubes together, there are 2 faces that end up not being exposed to the outside, and that's this face here and this other face in here, which I can point to. Okay, so when you join 2 cubes together, you lose 2 faces. Okay, now for method 2. Method 2 involves counting the faces painted red on each cube individually. For example, if I call this cube number 1, this first one over here, there are 6 faces on the cube, and only one of those faces is joined here, so there would be 5 red faces on the first cube. This second cube that I'm looking at right here, that I'm pointing to, well, it has 2 faces, 1 and 2, that are joined. So it originally had 6 faces, 2 are joined, so therefore 5 faces would be red. Same thing here with cube number 3. You would have 2 faces joined, the one down here and this other face here that's being joined. So 2 faces are joined, 6 minus 2, you'd still have 4 faces that are red. This cube here, I'll call this cube number 4 down here. This has 2 faces that are touching other cubes, so 1, 2 faces that are joined. And cube number 5 up here also has 2 faces that touch another cube, so this face down here and this face over here. And so 4 faces would be red, and this 6th cube over here only has 1 face which would be joined to another cube, so it has 5 faces that would be red. If you add these together, an easy way would be to add the 2 5s together, which gives you 10, and then to add the 4 4s together, which are 16, and 10 plus 16 is 26, so the answer again is 26. Now for question 6 of the 2013 calculator paper. 1 year ago, Jay was 140 centimetres tall. He is 5% taller now than he was then. How tall is Jay now? Pause the video and answer the question. Now there are 2 methods that you can use to answer this question. In the first method, you can just work out what 5% of 140 is. So 5% of 140 using your calculator is 7. Now to do 5% on your calculator, you can do 5 divided by 100 times 140 equals. Or you can do sometimes, because if you enter 5 and then the percent button on your calculator, you will get an error. If you do get an error, what you can do is do 140 times 5, then use the percent button and press equals. Your answer will be 7. And just 1 minute there. So 7 centimetres is the 5% extra that he has grown. So his new height is 140 plus 7, which is 147 centimetres. That's the first method. Now the second method is this method that I'll show you here. If we consider his original height of 140 centimetres to be 100%, we are now making him 5% taller. So he is 100% plus 5%, which is 105% of his original height. So we do 100% plus 5% is 105%. Now we just do 105% times 140 and you'll get 147 centimetres. Just remembering to do either 105 divided by 100 times 140 or enter 140 times 105% on your calculator, then pressing the equals button. So we'll just shade in the correct answer, which is 147. Now question 7 of the 2013 calculator paper. Jade buys a smart pad online that costs $319. With its packaging, it weighs 1.6 kilograms. Postage costs are shown in the table below. In total, how much does Jade pay for her smart pad and postage? Pause the video and attempt the question. Okay, we can look at the table. On the top line of the table, it says total mass of package. Now we know that this package weighs 1.6 kilograms. So we have to see which column of the table we're talking about. And it looks to be this column here, that the package is 1.5 kilograms to less than 1.75 kilograms. And the postage cost is $56.75. So the question is, how much does Jade pay for her smart pad and postage? So we have to add the cost of the smart pad to the postage. So that's $319 plus $56.75. Wait, I'll just pause the video for a second, fix this up. So again, $319 plus $56.75 on your calculator, you'll get $375.75. Okay, now for the next question. Question 8 of the 2013 calculator paper. This hexagon is constructed on a grid of 6 rectangles. See, we can see the 6 rectangles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each rectangle measures 6 centimetres by 4 centimetres. So we've got 6 centimetres times 4 centimetres, 6 centimetres times 4 centimetres, etc. What is the area of the hexagon? Pause the video and attempt the question. Now, we can see that this hexagon, I'm just going to outline the shape now. It goes down there, down, diagonally there, 4, 5, 6. It's got 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can see that this hexagon is made up of these 2 rectangles here, 1 and 2, and you've got 2 triangles up there and 2 triangles down here. Now this triangle fits really neatly inside the rectangle, and this is the diagonal of the rectangle. So this triangle here that I'm pointing to will be half the area of the rectangle, and so will this triangle over here. It will also be half the area of the rectangle, which means that 2 triangles, so the area of 2 triangles will make 1 rectangle. Like you can see it here, this triangle up here plus this triangle there makes up 1 rectangle, or this triangle here plus this triangle here equals one rectangle. So we know that we've got the equivalent of 2 triangles here makes 1 rectangle, 2 triangles down here makes another rectangle, and so that's 2 rectangles altogether. This is another rectangle, that's 3 rectangles, and here we've got 4 rectangles. So again, as I said, we've got 1, 2, these 2 halves make 3 rectangles, and down here these 2 halves make the 4th rectangle, so 4 rectangles. The area of 1 rectangle is 6 centimetres times 4 centimetres, which is 24 centimetres squared. So therefore the area of 4 rectangles will be 24 times 4, which is 96 centimetres squared. And I'll just shade that bubble there.